Hey, what's up, YouTube? Okay, so for this video, doing something a little different, kind of like a podcast style, just like we're just going over stuff on the season 5 update. You know, we just got the season 5 updates. We're just talking about the meta and like what we think's gonna happen and kind of in that, and just going over all the little tidbits behind that. Just got some like gameplay. So this is kind of something you could just like chill and listen to while you're like in the car, like before your bed or whatever. You know, it's a little longer video, but it's just like different style. But yeah, hopefully you like it. You know, if you do have some feedback, go ahead and leave some comments below. But don't forget to like, subscribe, and yeah, let's keep this dream going. You know, I'm inspired to keep making these videos, and I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, see you guys. Here goes the video. Now let's talk about the current meta and the landing meta, and I want to say something real quick, and then I want to hear what your like first like impressions are, just based on like what you've read and what you kind of already know. So landing, I think that there's a really interesting dynamic that's happened in the map, and I think that like this is what's going to be like pretty meta, and I don't think people are catching on to it, and I think we should definitely capitalize it on these games going forward. So the Sings Lab, which is where the big teleporter goes down, and then you get like all the epic loot, and there's the giant portal. That thing, whole thing, like broke. It's all destroyed, and now there's the capacitor, and there's now an underground tunnel that leads into it. So I think dropping capacitor is like really good. No one ever drops there. There's really good loot at capacitor, and then you can push into Sings Lab and clean up squads that are fighting at the same time.
Yeah, I'll trust you on that. I haven't had a chance to play the map, so I've just been doing like firing range
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Makes sense. I mean, big loot areas though. As long as people don't know of it yet, yeah. If you know about them, capitalize them. But I'm sure people will start to catch on.
Yeah.
With that said, I mean, you're a LOBA. You can literally just like just go right by it, get all the good loot, and then get the ETFO.
Okay, so Pathfinder got nerfed.
Yeah, be hard. I saw. I read all the patch notes at least.
And LOBA's amazing. So
Yeah.
I think LOBA is gonna be like maybe one of the best characters now. But then they also buffed Octane with the jump pad.
Oh yeah, they reduced the cooldown,
which he really needed.
Yeah, they nerfed Gibby, Path,
and then they buffed your boy Mirage.
Yeah, that's what I was mostly playing around with him yesterday. They opened up a lot for Mirage. It's gonna be really interesting to see how people push his meta now, just because there's just so much variability. Like, and this just from controlling, and there's a pretty high skill ceiling. I feel like to just like, yeah, you can like stopping and control his colds and have him move around, but in terms of like affecting whether he runs afterwards or stands still, or like when you're climbing a wall and he's not, there's like a lot of little details about how interacting with your clone now can translate to the battlefield, and like it's going to be really hard for people now to kind of, especially just from I was working with him on third person, it is pretty hard now to really tell if the Mirage is a clone or not, and that was the biggest like issue with him in the previous game or in the previous season. So
yeah, I mean, last game I found myself shooting at a Mirage clone already. So
it's happening, and people did it before, and people are gonna do it now. So, or especially gonna do it now. Even his ult will just and it's gonna be less like, oh no, I shot a Mirage, and it's gonna be like, especially with his ults, like, oh no, there are like 7 Mirage clones.
Yeah,
because he can throw an extra one out there to throw him off. Like there's a lot of.
I have no idea what's going on with Mirage. It is so confusing every time I see a Mirage now.
It's gonna he's add some mayhem to the battlefield. I don't think they're gonna keep all the changes that they did to him, just because it's gonna get pretty zany.
Yeah.
Like and they did say in the patch notes this is a very experimental update season, so I'm almost certain they're like gonna nerf a lot of things about that, just because it gets silly. It gets to the point of overcomplicating the game with the stuff with all of the things they did for Mirage. It'll be, the nice thing about it is that there is a skill ceiling. Like once people do get used to some of like his tactics, you could actually push for like different tactics.
Right.
So I'm excited. I hope they don't screw with him too much. I'm sure they will, but
More with the baby emojis, baby rage. Okay, so let's talk about the guns now. So we were talking about like I mean we know a little bit about the guns, so we know the Havoc is like that it is like it feels unusable. I mean it still has all the same damage, but the recoil is crazy. Like it's good. Maybe if you get like a good stock on it,
I think it's fine. Personally, I think I know they didn't say it in the patch notes, but I feel like it shoots a little bit faster and the TDK is a little bit lower, but that's just me. Like,
What's
and
TDK?
I personally
Can you clarify that?
Time to kill. Sorry.
Time to kill. Okay.
Yeah. I that's just from I didn't say in the patch notes, so I'm sure I'm just full of it. But even though it does have more oomph to it, and like they messed with the
But they didn't increase the damage.
drips.
All they did was they changed the recoil on the vertical and the horizontal and the first two bullets.
Out of the first two bullets, like there's more recoil. To me, it feels like there's a little bit more to it for whatever reason. I know it was supposed to be a nerf, but
yeah,
I don't know. I've been playing around with it, and I think it has something to do with the recoil of the first two bullets.
Mm-hmm.
I think they might have done a little bit more than they said in the patch notes, just because I do feel like the damage output is a little bit different, but. And to me, I think that's a welcome change, just the recoil alone, just because, people were just like sniping people with Havoc, and it made it a little silly. It wasn't just like a niche gun anymore. It was like a gun you should have. Like everyone wanted a Havoc, so I think making it a little bit more skillful to use, and hopefully doing something about the damage output. I think it's a little. I personally think it's a little higher.
So it's still gonna shred from like that close to medium range, range, right? But it's not gonna be as impactful at that longer range.
Like, oh, there's like a bunch of bullets coming at me from 200 meters. Like,
however,
I mean, you already have the Arthur at 1. You have to deal with kind of situation, but I don't know. I honestly, even though with the nerf, I'd rather take a Havoc like out than like up any shotgun at this point.
Right.
Like they did the shotguns dirty this season.
Right. But also like if you got it souped up, that's gonna like increase your recoil like a lot. And when you have it like all the way level 3, it's like it's almost where it was at, Like it's tweaked a little bit, but it's still like gonna be a really solid gun because its damage is really good.
I think it's fine. I think they did a welcome nerf to it. Just the peacekeepers though, the shotguns, they did them dirty. Like I know
Mastiff. What is happening? There's Mastiffs everywhere, dude. Everywhere you drop, there's like 4 Mastiffs.
Okay, the way they nerfed it though, it's not a good gun anymore. Like it's not a crate gun. They like reduced the power, they increased the spread. Like
yeah. Also, they just updated something. I'm sorry to cut you off, but they just updated something. Like some update just happened today, and I'm wondering if that's something from like yesterday's like big update.
I'm sure it's just like fix things that were broken because it was very broken when yesterday when I first tried to install it. Like when I got the install going, like the menus were skewed, like you couldn't access anything. I think it's I know they did like a quick patch yesterday to fix everything, but I think it's an update to make sure that everything's more stable.
Maybe
I'm almost done. It was a quick update too, so it couldn't be much more than that. It was like a few hundred megs.
I mean, all you have to do is like change the randomized like drop of Mastiffs. Like you could just increment it by like a couple numbers and just like update it like that, So there could be something like that.
They just want to show off because like the master drops is like server side, so you don't have to like send out an update to like change that.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so in terms of meta though, I think so we have like really strong long range weapons now. We don't have as like prolonged battles with like Pathfinder being able to like zip and shoot around the map. And now we have Mastiffs as a shotgun, and Mastiffs are really strong. Like they're a very strong gun, but they are not good from like long range, obviously.
Yeah.
But they have a much wider spread than the PK. So what this means is I think like it's more weary to try to fight somebody up close because Mastiffs are so common, and I think it's gonna like create more long ranged battles, especially because of like the disadvantage that we now, or not the disadvantage, but like the nerf that we got with like the Pathfinder and stuff. But with that being said, I think LOBA is going to be extremely strong in the current meta because of that, because she can, you know, pop up her like her ultimate like from that long range, get the loot that she needs, and for her team, and then like she can like pull a flank with like her portal thing, because that she just instantly teleports, man. It's crazy. She throws it, and she could throw it behind the other enemy team and just instantly teleport, and they have no idea that she's gonna be right behind them and just
Why wouldn't they?
mowing
They
them
see
down
like
with a gun.
why wouldn't they? They see like the giant ring. It makes a huge audible sound. If you don't hear the LOBA or
Mm,
like see the LOBA, you probably don't have headphones or have your
true.
like screen turned off because like she announces when she literally like teleports behind you,
Okay.
which I
Okay.
think is a lot better than Pathfinder. Pathfinder, as soon as he's like goes to the zip, he's just flying through the air. You don't know where he is. You can't tell. It's just like you hear a slight wish of air maybe, but
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
LOBA, you see like the huge light coming from her ring. It makes this huge kind of like it makes this huge wave sound when she does teleport.
Right.
So you know she's there. And on top of that, there's the reduced you get there's like in lag from her actually teleporting. It's like a good amount of seconds. Like she has to teleport, she has to take the ring, put it back on her hand before she can even like back out her gun and start shooting. So
Right.
there's like I think you could capitalize on that. Literally, it just you call out the LOBA. LOBA's on me. She'll teleport. Everyone turn to her and then shoot her.
Kind
In
of.
most
Kind of
cases,
like. Kind of like. Yeah. It's kind of like um uh Overwatch with the
Sombra, yeah,
Tracer. No,
or
Tracer.
oh.
Yeah.
Tracer's a little bit harder because Tracer she just like
She can do it
zooms
again. Right.
and she zooms a bunch of times. She can like shoot as soon as she does it, like the millisecond after she like teleports. Loba she has a like I feel like a significant in lag to or uh to her
Yeah.
teleport. So I think yeah, you can definitely do a bait with her, but that requires coordination on like Loba's team. She can't just like throw herself behind enemy lines and
But
like
that's the thing. I've
1v3
been doing
everyone.
that. I've been doing that, and people just like don't know. Like they just don't know. I
This-
just like teleport behind them. They have no idea I'm behind them, and I'm just like gunning down their backs. It's
I,
so great.
I sure hope I sure hope people realize that
Right over
like unless
time.
like if
Yeah.
that yeah some of the stuff that like all right it's there's a huge light ring coming towards me. I wonder if there's going to be a Lola behind me soon. Like come on.
Well, I mean,
And
that's
it's
fine, but if like you're already in a battle and you're already fighting another squad,
yeah, I mean
and
if
then
you're
that
third partying someone,
happens,
sure.
you got to be ready. Like that's crazy. So,
Well, yeah,
yeah.
I'm talking more of like a 1v1 or a one team v one team situation. Like yeah, if you're like flanking someone from behind, whether you're
Mm-hmm.
teleporting or zipping or just walking up to him, you're gonna have an advantage on like the team getting flanked from two other teams. So yeah, it's nice to have that tool as Loba, but I don't think it necessarily means that her teleport is like OP because you're flanking someone already at a disadvantage. So, but
So, okay, this is interesting. So, for the Mirage thing, right? So it says when controlling the decoy, it will mimic Mirage's every move. So, like, that's difficult because before, when you do the decoy, it would just keep moving forward.
yeah, it would move forward, never stop. It would stop if it hits a rock or
Yeah,
disappear if it hits like something specific like a
but if you're Mirage undercover and you use the thing, can you like walk into the cover and like make your decoy walk out, you know?
sure.
Or
You can position your Mirage in a way to where if you're walking in the cover, he can also like he'll be out of cover. Like there's a lot of
mm,
it just comes down to you have a hotkey which lets you at any point during Mirage's original running animation when you first send him out, you can control him at any point there. So you just press the hotkey and he stops, and then he just mimics your every movement. You can press the hotkey again, and he'll do one of two things based on what you're doing. He'll start running again, or he just will stop mimicking you and just stand there in place. So from there, you can pretty much control where he is in relation to you, and then kind of set him up, and then just do whatever you want to do in terms of like your
It's really strong.
Yeah, there's a lot of variability. There's enough of a, you can't just like pick them up at this point and just be like, haha, let's just run around and go crazy. You kind of have to have some control over when you hotkey your clone and when you don't. So.
Can you talk about the change on the ultimate?
His ultimate, whatever.
It says Mirage deploys a team of decoys that mimic his every move. So did they change his ulti?
Similar enough in look. Yeah, they changed his up enough for merit. So it starts the same. All his however many 6 of his clones come out. You definitely turn invisible for a bit, but they reduce that by a lot. Like they fourth it even. Like you just go invisible for like a second or two and then come back. But at that point, all of the other clones are mimicking your movements. So they're if you're running to the right, all of your clones are running to the right. So and then they start to disappear one by one, I believe, like the original ultimate. So it's similar to the old one, but in the fact that you control them all. It's definitely makes for some interesting plays. I was looking on YouTube, like you just literally don't know who's who. You're more likely to shoot all the clones before you can tell which Mirage there is. The only cue you have to the real Mirage is the real Mirage disappears and reappears for like a second. So if you can find that visual cue, then you know which one is the real one. But even at that point, there are 6 others that are just kind of just dancing.
Can you say that again?
So the real Mirage, he'll phase in and out for like a second. He'll kind of hit what's the word? He'll cloak himself. He'll cloak himself for like a second during the ultimate, and then reappear.
Is that his passive?
No, that's just part of the ultimate. His passive is a lot different. His passive is he cloaks when he's using the revive tower, and also when rezzing.
Oh, in like self revive, you mean?
Not maybe self revive, but it didn't specify. He always gets cloaked when he's downed, but when he's rezzing someone, so picking someone up, they both get. That's the most.
So for how long is he invisible?
It's like a few seconds. It's a good amount of time. Like I don't think it's for the entirety of the res, but it's pretty long. It's for like a good part of it. Like enough time to get them up, that's for sure.
Okay, and then we got Bloodhound buff, increased sonar detection from 3 to 4 seconds, really good buff. Decreased cooldown from 35 to 25 seconds, really good buff. Crypto, tactical drone. Crypto can now ping banners while in drone to warn teammates of nearby squads. That's pretty good. Increased lifeline bin ratio to 20%. I don't know what that means.
The bin ratio? You said for lifeline?
Yeah. Oh, like how many bins are blue bins?
Yeah.
Okay. Removed knockdown shield from secret compartment loot pool. Okay, so there's no more knockdown shield, so there's better. I'm assuming there's better loot now because of that. Designer note. Caustic friendly gas no longer slows teammates, which is really good, and caustic traps are no longer triggered from the other side of the door. Is there merit to that? Do you think that's worth talking about?
Caustic?
Yeah, the traps no longer triggering from the other side of the door.
Yeah, I'm glad they finally did it. It was annoying to walk by a door and just suddenly start coughing. It was kind of silly.
Okay.
Yeah, the fact that his teammates can run through smoke is pretty big. the downside is like your teammates will get through the smoke before the gas before you do as caustic, which is fine. You just have to coordinate a little bit more. But the fact that your teammates can just kind of bust out of a gas cloud and start wrecking people is going to be pretty powerful.
And Gibraltar got a really big nerf too.
Yeah, it was significant. People
18
to
seconds
be
to
fair,
12.
everyone was using Gibby in like upper echelon ranks, so
Yeah.
it was
But
probably
the biggest nerf has to be Pathfinder, 15 to 35 seconds.
it's been a long time coming.
That's
People like
big.
I'm biased because I don't play a lot of Pathfinders, and I know a lot of people who play Pathfinder very are very peeved about this nerf, but it's been a long time coming. Like from the beginning, like they were nerfing like people with kind of emergency getaway moves like WRAITH. I think at one point they even like nerfed Mirage's like emergency or his emergency getaway. Like he didn't cloak as much. Like they were trying to nerf people's abilities that allow you to just like GTFO, just because they want to promote a more aggressive playstyle. With Pathfinder, though, the fact that you could quickly not only get away, but you could also quickly reposition, like quickly gain like high ground, and then also be able to get away like 15 seconds later, like give you just waste like a whole lot of maneuverability just compared to any other legend. At like little like it was a little broken. Like being able to position yourself and then position your team that quickly and also have a getaway option within seconds was a little OP.
Right.
And I think it broke a lot of like strategies for like most of the cast. Like he's I don't know, he's a direct counter to a lot of legends, which in itself is okay, but you'd have to kind of limit that power in some way.
Yeah. Well, I think the way that they commented on it was, we don't want fights to be so like prolonged. Just like, oh, like if a fight lasts like 30 seconds, he can use his grappling hook twice within that fight, and that's like a little way too strong compared to like the rest of the cast. So
the fact that he could use like such a powerful like tool multiple times in a fight, it definitely like skews a lot of. Even if it's not necessarily like he wins matchups, but it's just more of it affects the dynamics in a way that I think they don't really want for Apex. Like the point is like the reason teams get third party so much is because of prolonged fights. They kind of want a bit more. I think they're promoting a lot more aggressive playstyles in this third party in this edition. So, and that's just always been the crux of like BRs. So
I mean,
something that. Sorry.
Oh no, I have to disagree with you a little bit. I think like because of the changes on like some of the guns and that the Skull Piercer is back, I think like people are gonna play more long ranged, and I think like.
Well, yeah, the longbow Skull Piercer, sure, they'll play a bit more with snipers, but and to large effect, but
and because the Mastiff is so threatening.
Yeah,
it's like I mean, get shot by Mastiff.
The only thing you really could do originally with and I still think like even with the Skull Piercer edition, like it's still an aggressive playstyle. Like people generally only picked up snipers to like maybe poke at people with third parties, and then also like increase their Evo shield. And once they did that, they kind of dropped it. So I don't know. Yeah. It ends battles quicker having like a Skull Piercer on your longbow. So I still am willing. Like I still think that like the Skull Piercer edition kind of aligns with what I'm trying to say.
Okay, yeah, but, faster fights.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's interesting. I'm really excited to see where all of this goes.
No, seriously. Okay, let's talk about the weapon and loot updates, like really briefly. So they made it so that loot just drops more often. I guess that was a big complaint. Since I've been playing, like there's just like guns everywhere now, but it kind of feels like a little oversaturated. But we'll see. But like finding an R99 wherever you drop, finding a purple body shield, finding a Mastiff is like pretty easy now. So I mean that's good because a lot more people are going to be able to have like better guns and be able to choose which gun they want to run. I'm going to run that alternator. Then we got the fully the Season 5 fully kitted weapons, Longbow DMR, Hemlock, Spitfire, EVA 8, RE45. The RE45 was already golden last season. Is there any differences in that compared to last season?
Not that I recall. I mean,
The Hemlock, was that a gun you could get golden last season?
oh, you're talking about getting the golden version of the weapon?
Yeah,
Sorry.
these are gold weapons. Longbow, Hemlock, Spitfire, EVA, and RE.
I don't remember a Spitfire being able to get a golden version. Maybe.
I don't remember the Hemlock either. It was the Havoc. It was the Havoc
Yeah,
and
there's Havoc.
something
I think
else.
the P2020, maybe the RE45. Havoc, I'm pretty sure you could get gold. That could have also been before the season before, or the
No, that
update
was this
before
past
last.
season. You can get a gold
Okay.
Havoc this past season.
Okay.
But Hemlock gold, what? Is that good? Like single fire mode maybe? Or do you want burst?
It's fine. I
Kinda
mean,
weird.
everyone has a preference. Most people go like swear by single.
Yeah.
I just like the idea of burst, especially if you can control your burst spray. And I'm just like, I just run that. Like a lot of pros use single as well, so I
Yeah.
mean they have a point. I'm sure they have a point to it. So,
Yeah.
but in terms of the golden version, like I think it's a little because I don't know if the golden version has your 2-4 scope or not. Because I remember a lot of the golden version of weapons, like the Havoc, had like 1-2 scopes. So I don't know if they'll do like 2-4 or 3 scopes on the golden version of Hemlock because it's static. You can't change it. So
right.
I don't know for sure.
Yeah, we don't know yet. And then we got the Mastiff. Like just basically just nerfed the crap out of it so that it can be like more aligned with like a common weapon you find on the ground as opposed to like a legendary gun. Biggest one I think is like the damage per bullet going from 18 to 13. So like you can't really just shoot people from far. It doesn't do enough damage. We got the Peacekeeper, got buffed. Now it's the gun that you can find in the drop. We got the alternator, increased mag, and increased damage, which is... Oh, wait. No. Increased mag size, level 1. Yeah. Oh, there is no increased damage. It's just only mag size. Okay, and then we got RE45. Increased damage a little bit, and reload time reduced, which is... So that's making it a little better. Havoc got completely obliterated with the recoil. Longbow DMR, headshot scale reduced. So the headshot scale is reduced on the longbow DMR. So now if you get the skull piercer, it's good, but without the skull piercer, it's kind of whack. Then you got the wingman, which is just solid both ways. Then you got hop-ups for the DMR and the wingman, and then the vaulted anvil receiver. I don't know what that is.
So the anvil receiver that you got with the RO301 in the flatline. They just took that away.
Oh, it's gone now?
Yeah. It's just like,
okay.
there's no more. So.
But people didn't really like use it that often anyways, so.
I liked it a lot personally.
Oh, really?
Yeah, gave you like, especially with rushdown characters like that you don't want to run a sniper with, having the anvil gives you like yet another option like on approach. So it lets you be kind of a pocket sniper if you want it to be, especially with the right scopes. So, I don't know. I like the anvil a lot.
On the which gun? You were saying?
Specifically the flatline. The R301, I felt it was a little it was not very useful to have because you could do pretty mid-range sort of encounters the R301 pretty effectively without it.
But the flatline's still really good. Like
flatline's fine still. Yeah. I appreciated having the ammo. It made me feel like having a very like balanced gun.
Let me start it up. And we can talk about the gold shield. So the gold shield now, instead of it increasing, what was it? 50?
Instead of you being able to run pop your consumables faster, it doubles, I think, the effectiveness of like syringes and shield cells. So like instead of, I'm actually not that sure. I think it's instead of just healing part like regular, it heals double for every like syringe or shield cell you use. And it's also funny because one other thing that wasn't in the patch notes, because we were talking about snipers earlier, I don't think it was in the patch notes. They actually updated the Sentinel to where it uses shield cells instead of shield bats. I think that's a pretty big change. You can use 2 shield cells to power up your Sentinel instead of a shield bat. Oh. That's
Alright.
a game changer to me, honestly. Because like no one wants to use their shield bats to power up a sentinel.